To know where you're going, it can help to know where you came from. And we're talking about past life, why we forget, and how to remember. Just as symbolized by the Ouroboros and other cyclical symbols, once our soul chooses its first incarnation, begins the wheel of karma, cycle of death, rebirth, again and again, until that cycle is not broken but transformed through complete self-realization and actualization. So before incarnation as a soul existing on the other side, everything is very conceptual, but consciousness wants to experience everything there is on a deeper level, and therefore it chooses to incarnate, to go through that cycle and understand lessons, scenarios, experiences, therefore gathering wisdom and waking up to something more than ourselves. But this awakening process takes time, just as remembering past lives can take time. Very symbolic of the ladder or the stairs, climbing to the very top or ascending through a process known as soul evolution, or can also be categorized as soul ages. And we start at the very base level with the ascension process. This means the soul incarnates at its very densest form, which is the mineral kingdom, so crystals, rocks, working its way up to the vegetable kingdom, plants, trees, animal kingdom, then human, into ascended master or omnipresent, the omnisentient beings. Now, to go back to soul ages just for a second. So each soul age has a category of lessons that that particular soul wants to learn. These lessons can also be learned on the other side, but they're not as deeply understood as they are when experiencing them in human form. Therefore, why we're so compelled to continue to come back and relearn these lessons until we officially crystallize them, can move on, cut a lot of karma, and move further in our ascension process. But going back to past lives, this is a large reasoning factor why a good majority of us don't and are not supposed to remember past lives. For example, if someone is in a very karmatic situation, remembering something from the past might not necessarily help them as much as just dealing with this situation, trying to understand it and work through it in this moment. We can also take this as far as those individuals who are very far removed from spirit consciousness. Those are usually the individuals, when you talk about any of this type of stuff, they're going to laugh and say, you're crazy. But for them in that lifetime, it does not serve them to be connected to something larger. They're on their own unique karmic journey, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Even through day-to-day life, little bits and pieces of past lives do tend to bleed through, kind of regardless. This comes in the most common affinities for a particular culture or region or location. Also certain fears and phobias, also strange birthmarks or unexplainable diseases or ailments. Oftentimes this is coming from a past life where an imbalance has occurred and it's just transferring over into this lifetime. Specifically, if going to a doctor or these unexplained conditions are has doctors, medical, herbalists, things of that nature completely we don't know what's going on. That can often be very karmic or very much tied to a particular past life. And also, I would have to say the most common instances of past lives that are bleeding through into this lifetime are particular extreme amounts of hatred for a particular person or dislike towards individuals. And these people are trying to teach us a lesson that where we're at right now, we can't completely maybe understand, but on a higher level, our soul and our higher self definitely does. So how do we begin to remember our past life? So first, doing the inner work, which is important because if you remember, when we incarnate, we're literally just picking up right from where we left off in our past life, from the other side, from the past life, from the other side. So it goes back and forth, just a continuation cycle until that lesson is learned or that karmic cycle is broken, etc. So doing the inner work includes things like shadow work or merging consciousness with the unconscious so that separateness is no longer existence. The oneness, the wholeness has become within. And it starts with the lower self. This means the emotions, the survival instincts, really observing self on a deeper level to bring in consciousness and really recognize what's the truth in this situation, what's the reality, what are these patterns that I'm noticing that are either being beneficial or non-beneficial, and how can I bring it and make them more beneficial to my life. And you're making progress with the inner work when you become more emotionally centered or more emotionally regulated. Things just don't get to you. You're not emotionally triggered or charged. Things can just be said and you just stay very balanced and neutral because of you've connected with that central part of yourself. And ego is what the karmic will going. The ego is closely connected with karma and compels us to come back again and again in each lifetime. It communicates telepathically with other souls that, if not being consciously watched, can create and keep certain patterns, dramas, experience, mistakes, whether beneficial or non-beneficial, those experiences continuously coming into your life. Because the more you can free up ego, the more of your true essence and your intuition is available to you. Therefore, more insight can flow into you. If you've ever had the experience where you met someone and you just remembered them right on the spot. You could remember it, you just couldn't quite place when, where, and how. When you free up ego, more of that will come to you, as well as you can take that feeling, meditate on it deeply, and see what else comes. See if you can pinpoint when you knew this person. Was it here? Where was the location? Was it in the US? Was it on a different star system? Just seeing where you can trace it through deep meditation on that feeling is what will continue to help you tap into those past life experiences. Kind of taking that to the next level in terms of talking about deep meditations. This is also where we get hypnosis and going into a deeper state. By doing this consistently with yourself, you help to train your own consciousness to go into that past life consciously through the consistently doing it. Means going into like a deeper past alpha, into maybe some theta states. Frequencies are really great for this, specifically like the lower hertz, so 3 hertz, 4 hertz. I remember there was this group and they were trying to contact extraterrestrials, and they said what helped them most was playing 3 hertz in the left ear and then 4 hertz in the right. So between those two frequencies really helped them to connect. It goes very similar into contacting past lives. Going into that deep meditation state, frequencies help you get there. Staying conscious, but driving yourself to that experience. And recognizing certain people or certain situations, or if you have those little like things that bleed through, like we mentioned, like a particular dislike for someone or a particular location that you're just drawn to, taking those will really help jumpstart and put you to that experience. And then all you have to do is just go deeper through asking yourself questions. So it's almost like shadow work, but on steroids, going even deeper. And this is going into the unconscious, past lives consciously. So I hope this was helpful. If you have questions or would like to see more or expanded aspects of this video, just let me know in the comments below. Until next video.